It's always weird starting off these videos because I don't know what to say, and I sound like an insane person sitting here talking to a camera. Okay, so now I got all the rollers done. These were the two I showed how to make this style of roller. I ended up going with this smaller style just because it was easier to make and a little bit more compact, but it's the same principle. I would have liked them all to be the same size, but just because this is a prototype, I think this will work fine. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is take this circle piece of wood I cut out. This is from a previous project, and I'm going to put a screw right in the center of it. Just far enough so it's poking out of the other side. Alright, so then I'm going to take this piece and put it on top of this and try to line it up in the center as best as I can. And then just hammer that down. Just to make an indentation where the center of it is. I can take this screw back out. Now I'm just going to mark that with a Sharpie real quick just so I can see it a little bit better. So with both of these pieces, what I need to do, I take this little printout. It's got the right size slices of pie that I need. Come here. So I'm going to take a screw and try to put this in the center as best as I can. Okay. Now I'm just going to take a couple pieces of tape and hold it down a little bit better. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is make a straight line through it. It needs to look like this, but just bigger. So the lines have to go like that. Put across the entire thing, and the best way I found to do this without just eyeballing it was to make one of these printouts so I could just trace it. And obviously I'm going to go back over the piece of paper once I take it off. Go ahead and take that off. Put the wood back on. Alright, there we go. First one done. Now I'm just going to do the same thing with the other one. Alright, so I got two of these all marked out. I'm going to cut one of them on the lines, but I'm going to save the other one like that because I'm going to need to line up the rollers. Let me show you real quick actually. Okay, so basically I'm going to put one of the rollers on it about right here. It should be flipped over like this actually. But I just have this line here so I can mark out where each of the rollers are going to go. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out with a skill saw. Is that what it's called? You know what? I can never remember what this is called. Let's see. It says skill saw on the side of it, so I'm going to call it a skill saw. I realize I should probably be keeping track of which ones are which, just in case they're a little bit off. So I'm going to mark them all with numbers. Okay, got them all cut out. Hopefully these will line up right. Got to mark out where all the rollers need to be on this plate. It's going to be a little bit difficult because I'm going to need a hole cut out in the center, probably about that big. So each of these rollers are only supposed to go about that far. I can't just put it directly in the center. So, gonna need a circle. Basically, I can't. It's difficult to show, but I will try my best. So, pretty much gonna need something, a circle in the middle. The size of the circle is determined by how far out your roller has to travel. So say your roller, well, yeah, say your roller is about that far out. So, I mean, I guess something like that distance. Nah, this might be a little bit too small, but anything bigger, is also going to affect it. Basically, there's going to be an arch around your circle in the middle, and that arm has to be the same distance from your roller to the circle so that they connect. This will pull when the wheels in the middle spins, this will pull the roller in, is the hope. Now, this isn't going to give it its maximum draw length, but just for a prototype, I mean, it should work fine. So, I'm going to just put the circle in the center. It wasn't a very good description, but that's the best I can explain it. It's kind of complicated, but you'll just have to see. Now I want this circle that's cut out to be as symmetrical as possible because it's going to have to spin. The piece of wood that's going to be cut out is going to have to be able to spin inside of here. Alright. Now, I'm not sure if I'd be able to get away with drilling a hole in here since I do need it to be symmetrical. I don't think it would mess up a lot, but just so that it doesn't, I'm gonna instead get a smaller drill bit, the same size or roughly the same size, and then just drill a couple small holes instead of one big hole. So just drilling on this line right here. Okay, I think that's probably gonna work. It's not really catching unless it's at an angle. And I can always file it down a little bit more, but yeah, that should work. Oh boy, yes. So, after a lot of thinking, I think I got the right calculations and all that figured out. So I did a little test here, set a couple things up just so I could try to see what's going to go on. Basically, there's going to be an arm attached from here to here, So when this rotates, it pulls this in and out. But I kind of have to do that for all 6 of them. And this is definitely not the right size. Plus, if it's turned like this, this arm is going to interfere with the arms of all the other 6. So everything has kind of precise measurements. I mean, if this wheel goes out like a certain distance, it makes the gap between this wider, which means I have to make the piece that goes inside of this bigger. And if I make that bigger, it messes up with something else. So basically everything is like has to be really in sync, and I'll show you that once I get done putting all this stuff together, and hopefully it all lines up and works. But for now, I'm going to take this off. I'm going to take this piece of plywood. It's the same size as the other stuff. I'm just going to randomly place this down. I kind of want it to be in the center, but I'm just going to measure this out real quick and see if this is actually enough space. Yeah, it looks like it'll work. I'm going to call this part the flower because it kind of looks like a flower, and I'm going to call the arms that come off of it petals. And the flower needs to be about 8 inches in length. Petal. So I'm just marking off 8 inches on each line from the center, and I want this to be as precise as I can get it, but I don't think that's going to be very precise. I'm kind of just hoping that it all works together. It's such a weird project, so many moving parts, that I just have to build it and see what problems occur. If I was to build it again, it would definitely be a little bit easier, but still, if I was to change any like the size of the shield or the ratio of it being closed or open, it would kind of mess everything else up, and I'd probably have to figure that all out. Okay, so just put my Sharpie away, which was not a good idea because I need to mark these back out. Each of these lines coming off of here needs to be 3 inches long, going all the way down. So I'm gonna mark out. It's kind of gonna be difficult. I don't know how straight these are gonna be. We'll see. 3 inches that way, and on this side 3 inches. Just do that with all of them. Actually, you know what? Let me try to do this one first. I need something longer. I mean, it might be straight. You know, we can always hope. That looks all fancy and stuff. Hopefully it's the right size. And I don't think I need to do anything else for that. So I'm just gonna take the tape off. And do I really? Yeah, I gotta redraw these lines. So I'm just going to cut this out. hopefully this is the right shape. Really hoping it is. Now, I think I'm okay to go ahead and try to bolt these down into position, all the rollers. There they all are. Okay, I only need 6 of these. And I'm just going to drill a hole in the center at the end of each one of these. And maybe I need one at the other end too. Let's put the thing back on. Okay, so I marked a little dot on the end of each of these pieces of aluminum. Now, right over here, see this? Oh, that's not in focus. Oh yeah. Okay, right there. Right there. Needs to be a little hole. Heck frick. Okay, I messed it up. Oh, it's gonna work. Alrighty then. That should work. I couldn't foresee. I'm running out of screws. So basically what I've been doing is taking these little circles I cut out of plywood and putting them on the end of these. Like that. With just a little bit sticking out. And then you can take that and put it in the little hole that's right there. And then screw that down. Now take a roller and put it on. That. And then got these. So I put 3 of them on already. I just gotta do the other 3. On this end of it, how I'm gonna support it is, for now I'm just gonna wedge a piece of wood under there. Then put in the screw. that'll be just to keep this up. Take it out. There we go. And I'm just going to do that with all of them. I changed the lighting and now it's too harsh. I thought if I made it brighter it would work. But now it's just worse. So I took this piece of aluminum and drilled a couple holes in it and put it in here temporarily. And I just did that because I'm trying to figure out how I need to make the arms. The arms have to curve because if each of the arms are straight like this aluminum is, then the next one is going to go underneath this and attach onto the other roller. So I can't do that because it would be each one would have to go underneath it, and it'd be like 2 inches thick or so, because I'm going to be doing it out of plywood. Basically, I just can't do that because it'll mess everything up. So each one of these has to not come in contact with the other, and I bent this piece of wire into shape. So once it's about right here, which is as far out as it's supposed to go, I can just bend this piece of wire to shape, and this is going to give me kind of a rough guide of how the arm needs to go. This is curved so that I can drill a hole right here and put another arm going into this. So hopefully that'll work out. I'm going to cut these out of I'm going to go ahead and cut that out of 1/4 inch plywood. Just making one right now to see if that works, and if it does, I'm going to make 6 more. Heck freak. You see the skill? Are you seeing the skill? That's not a very dark outline, but it should work. Okay, so I ran into a bit of a problem. This roller kind of split, and I can't really use it like that, and I don't really want to make another one. Plus, I'm kind of afraid if I do make another one, it'll just do the same thing again. And also, with this added piece that I made, since I decided to try to bend a piece of aluminum into the right shape for the arm, because the wood that I cut out was way too thick, so it wouldn't overlap in the whole thing here. So basically this is about 2 inches tall. That's pretty tall considering I have like another like 3 inches of stuff I need to put on top of it. That'd make the shield pretty thick. So this one, this slider I made, is about I'd say about 1 inch tall. So that's not including this little nut, that's just up to this. I can make the nut shorter, but basically this is a lot better than this was, and it's a little bit simpler to make, and hopefully it should stay intact for longer, and it's a lot shorter too. So I decided to go with this. Now I'm just going to make 5 more of these, and I'll show you how to make them. Okay, so I'm just going to take this off first, because it took me a while to get these all lined up properly. It's a little more difficult than I thought it would be to line them all up. But I'm just going to take this and use it as a template for the others. Okay, so this is one half of the roller. I got both halves of them right here. How they work is they're just each 3 pieces of aluminum stacked on top of each other, and then you put a piece of aluminum in the center, and that makes the roller like that. So to make a whole bunch of them at once, I'm going to try putting a piece of aluminum in the center of this, and a piece right here, and then another piece on top. So should make 2 of them. I'll just put them all inside and then drill the holes, and it should have another one. So this is basically just going to be the template. I'm going to do that with the other 5 of them. So I'll just put this piece here, and put this piece here. Make sure they're all lined up, and then clamp it down good and tight. And mark out where the hole needs to be. About right there. And then just drill that out. So this is one half. I just put screws in, and it goes inside of this pretty easily for both sides. So it's nice and straight. I think that turned out pretty good. So basically, just got to make a whole bunch of these. They're the same on each side, so just keep making duplicates, and then you flip one around, and then you got a roller. Put the piece of aluminum inside of it, and there you go. I'm just going to make the rest of these. Okay, so I got all these done. Well, I didn't have enough aluminum to make all that I needed, but this is as many as I got. They kind of stack together like Lego bricks, but I'm going to take 2 of them and a random piece of aluminum that I have. Put them together like that, and then kind of stick it where it's supposed to be, just lining up this piece of aluminum that's in a center on the line that I drew, this one, and then hammer it into place. Just so that it leaves 4 holes so that I know where to drill. And then with the piece of aluminum still in the center, I'm going to try to align everything. Put all the screws in their holes, and then screw them in. probably as good as it's gonna get. And then I'm just gonna do that with the other two. I only have 2 more, even though I need 6. Right now I only have 4 rollers in total, but just because I didn't have enough aluminum, so I only have 2 of these, I'm gonna put the other 2 here and here, just across from these 2. That way it's a little bit more even. I should be able to put these pieces on the rollers and actually play around with it a bit, even though I don't have all 6 of them, just so that I can make sure everything else works while I wait to go and get the rest of the aluminum that I need. Alright. And the flower can still jiggle. So I got 4 of these pieces of aluminum, and they're all 3.5 inches. They don't have to be any specific size, but I'm going to put each one of them in one of these sliders. But you're going to need to have a hole drilled right here at the end. Not in really any specific point, just here at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and drill each one of those. So I'm going to take these and just put a bolt in the center. And screw on a little nut. Tighten it down. Just do that with all of them. And then just put them all in their little sliders. Now the next part is I'm going to take this flower off. I'm going to take this bolt and put it in here. Okay, now the next part that we got to make is the arms, I guess. What are we calling this? The arm. We'll call this the flower. These are the sliders. The arms that are going to come off of the flower, like this, we're going to call these the petals. So everything's got its name. This one is the arm. So the arm goes over this and this. And what's supposed to happen is when you turn it, it pushes the slider in and out. All I did was take this aluminum and just bent it into shape because it's pretty flimsy. But the only problem is I think it might be just a little bit too flimsy, because if there's enough weight on this and so it's resisting when it tries to push out, then it might just bend it instead, and that's not good. I did a test with these rollers, these old ones that broke, basically it's the same thing, except I can't bend this little curl where the bolt goes into. I can't bend that, so I had to cut one out and put bolts through it. So the benefit of this little one is that I can put the little curls on the end of it, but it is a lot weaker than this. This one doesn't really, I can't really crush it just by hand because it's so hard to bend, but this one is pretty easily bent, so if I did it like this, it'd be a lot easier because I can just curl these and it's pretty simple to bend into place. I can make them pretty fast, but it'd probably be too weak. If I did it with this, then it'd take a longer time to bend these into the right shape, and I'd have to cut these little angled pieces out and bolt them all together and stuff, but it would be a lot stronger. And basically just means this would be faster to do, a lot easier, but it would be a lot weaker, and this would be a lot longer to do, but it would be a lot stronger. Now the other defining character for these is the reason like why I don't do this instead of this is because I don't have any more of this aluminum. I used it all. These sliders take up a lot of it. So I have some of this left, but I know that it's probably going to be too weak. So it's kind of a hard decision because I don't know whether I should try to use these and just get along with it and see what everything does, if everything works properly, and try to build on that and put the flour in and stuff, or wait until I can get more of these and then do all that. So I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and bend these into shape and put all these arms around there. Basically how I bend these into shape is just grab a piece of it with pliers and slowly arc it. If you bend it too sharp, then it'll snap. It's pretty easy to snap it, but aluminum is pretty soft. You just gotta slowly work it. So once it's in the shape like that, then it'll hold a bolt, so just take this and try to bend it into the right shape as best as possible, just by hand. So just take it and snap it by bending it back and forth. Then just add the curl in here too. Alright, that should be good enough. Just check it, make sure it's okay with this. Should be the right size. Looks like it works okay. Anyways, that's how to make these arms. Pretty simple, just bend them into place. I'm gonna make 2 more of these and show you how all that turns out. I finished 4 of the arms because we only have 4 sliders, so I can't do all 6 right now. Now I'm just going to put them all into their position that they should be in. Alright, let's try it. This is the first test. Hoping nothing jams. In, out. See that okay? Okay, so the next thing I'm going to make is this piece. It's just the arm that pushes the slider in and out. Now it's just a flat bar piece of aluminum bent and then on the end of it, it has these little things that push inside of here. There you go. So that goes on the end of it, both sides. So I'm going to make these. I need 5 more of them. Now for the next part, I have this random scrap piece of PVC pipe. It's a 3-inch, and I'm just going to take the aluminum and clamp it down right here to hold it in place. Like that. And then just bend it. Until it's the right shape. That's about right. Go ahead and take that off. And just check it. Oh. That's about the same as the other one. Then for the little ends. Okay, so to make these little things, just going to take a smaller piece of flat bar, a screwdriver, and a, what is this, a vice grip, and leaving about 1.5 inches or so of space on the end, and then just bend it. Okay. Then once it's bent around that, you're going to take your clamp and just pinch it down. This one got messed up a little bit. I kind of didn't bend it right, but so then you got your shape, and you just take some pliers. You got to get them in the right place. And just snap it off. Like that. So then you have your shape. And you just take your piece of aluminum. And you have to press it down into it. Okay, about like that. Now, right now, I'm just gonna slide fit. What's it called? Just gonna friction fit it over the end. I'm not gonna put any bolts in it yet, just so I can have a little bit of room. Because if I need this to be longer, if I need the aluminum bar to be longer, all I have to do is wiggle this out a bit. And that gives it a little bit extra room. So for now, I'm not going to bolt them on, but you just take your bar and put it on the end there. about like that. This one isn't very good, but that's the basic principle. So just go ahead and do that for the other end, and that should be it. Alright, so I went ahead and wrapped electrical tape around each one of these just to hold it in place for now. I'm probably not even going to end up putting a bolt through there, and I'll just leave the electrical tape on because it leaves me the ability to adjust this in and out if I need to. But I'm going to go ahead and try these on for the first time. Let's go ahead and try it out. Alright, seems to work pretty good. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that. Obviously, if you pull this out too far and then try to push back in, it's not going to work. They have to be off-center just a little bit to be able to go. But I can slam it out, and just from me pushing in and out, I won't be able to push them back in. But if I was to rotate this piece inside here, the little circle inside, if I rotate that, then it doesn't matter. So I can go all the way out, and then I can go all the way in, and I shouldn't have any problems with catching or anything like that. So it's looking good though. Now I just got to put the flower on the top of it. Is that what I called it? Was it a flower? Yeah, it was the flower, and then the petals, and then the little pieces that come out here. I'm gonna call these the slices because they remind me of a piece of pizza. Alright, so I thought it might be useful to show you me putting these on. Basically, I already drilled a hole right in this center here. There's two holes because one of them was in the wrong spot and I had to adjust it, but you just put it on right there, that one hole, and then tap it down so it'll leave a little indentation. I don't know if you can see that at all, but there's a little indentation right there, and then you go ahead and just drill that. Then if all goes well, you can try to stick it back on. Like that, and then just bolt it down. But yeah, just gonna do that with these other two pieces. I'll show you how it works right now. Also, so this is the flower, and I just went ahead and added some petals on it. All I did was put a little hinge right here, and then on the opposite side I got a spring that I just put a nail through and then tied a paracord on and put a nail through right here too. So that's what's going to cause all of these to open up. Some of them don't open up all the way, but that's going to sit in the center. Go ahead and open this up. And this is going to sit right in here. Then I got this little spring, and it's going to go right on this, and then that'll go in the hole so that it'll be spring loaded, and it's probably not going to line up correctly, but so it goes up and down. So these are going to fold and go underneath each one of these slices, and then when the slices open up, then these are going to pop out, and then this is going to open up. That's what's supposed to happen. But it's all very inaccurate. Of course, this is supposed to be a prototype, so I'm just trying to make sure I got the basics down before I go and try to build a more expensive one, basically. So I'm going to go ahead and keep putting the rest of these slices on. Tried so hard and got so far. What is it hitting? Oh. Oh. Come here, little guy. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? What is this? Let's see if we can find the other one over here. What is this? That's not good. So the spring is caught on these. So that's a pretty good reason why that wouldn't work. And that's when I gave up. That's when I finally gave up. Let's go ahead and just... I can't really close it anymore. I mean, look at this. So let's just go ahead and try to open it. And see if it even does the springy thing. Or if it does anything. Or if it just breaks. Oh yeah, these are locked. Those are good and locked, alright, so those are not going to come open. Why do I keep trying it then? Because I want it to work so bad. Alright. I may have actually locked it into place. It might be like 100% locked into place now. I pulled that off the hinge. Come on, little guy. Come on now. They don't even open. It's such a hard angle for these things. Well, this one is... It's pretty bad. Well, the problem is that the aluminum kept getting caught on the springs. And also, these don't really like to open up that much because it's at a weird angle. I mean, this one opens fine, but see, like, this one doesn't open up even if it's like that far out. Let's go ahead and just for fun we'll push this in. Look, there it is. That's how it's supposed to look. Well, I tried. Back to the drawing board. What are you doing? Well, at least I got it to do that. I feel like Grant Imahara when he did his spider robot thing, and he's standing there with the remote, and then the robot just like falls over on its side. I feel like that. Like it took a long time to get here. And I seriously tried my hardest. Even though this is just a prototype, it should have at least, like... Gosh dang it, now it doesn't want to move. gosh. That one broke too. I'm gonna just keep messing with it until everything breaks. And then I can be like, well, it is indeed broken. I think it was just too low on that side. Scrap it.